Coming up, a firefighter and basketball player are among those injured after incidents involving fireworks in 2 counties.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Countless firework displays were set off across the Commonwealth last night, but we are learning more about some injuries that resulted from one of those events in Knott County. WYMT's Madison Carmouche spoke to the county judge executive about what went wrong.
After the 4th of July fireworks display in Hazard was postponed, Knott County Judge Executive Jeff Dobson says more people made their way to Knott County.
Each year at the Knott County Sportsplex, we have our 4th of July Independence Day celebration, and it's just a fun-filled family day. A lot of folks come out to have live music, a lot of kids' activities.
The firework display is put on by fire departments from across the county to ensure safety.
Our fire departments, they're trained to follow all safety precautions. They take training and all protocols in order to keep things safe while displaying the Independence Day fireworks show.
But accidents still happen, and the firework display came to an early halt.
About 20 to 25 minutes into the show, from a distance, I seen a shell that went off on the ground.
Dobson says this was an indicator for him to get in contact with both the fire and EMS teams on the scene.
I met the ambulance coming out, so at that time we did realize we had a couple of individuals that had been struck by pieces from the firework.
The accident left 2 people injured.
Later we had gained knowledge that we had one individual who had been hit in the lip. It was minor, I think a couple stitches on the outside. One of our firemen was hit in the head with a piece of as well. So
Dobson says the fireworks show was shut down immediately with public safety in mind. In Knott County, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
Dobson says he hopes the accident does not discourage people from attending the fireworks display in the future. Another 4th of July fireworks incident sent a well-known basketball player to the hospital. Harlan County basketball standout Reggie Cottrell needed to be flown to UK hospital in Lexington after suffering a severe hand injury from a firework. His sister said on Facebook 3 fingers had to be at least partially amputated. Several Harlan Countyans came to visit Cottrell at the hospital, including Trent Noah, who brought several UK basketball players with him. Now you can find Reggie's statement about what happened and more on our website.
Well, we had a severe thunderstorm watch earlier today that was allowed to expire between the 5 and 6 o'clock time frame, and now we're left with a stray shower or two just to the north of the viewing area. Live pinpoint Doppler radar shows the line of showers and thunderstorms, what happened over the past 12 hours as it pushed through eastern Kentucky. And right now we're seeing a little bit of precip activity just to the south and east of Moorhead towards the Willard area, the Wrigley area, West Liberty, as well as Frenchburg. We are seeing some rain at this time. Other than that, we're seeing a clean sweep across eastern Kentucky. You can kind of see the time lapse over the past 3 hours and how this system, or how that storm started to fire up. Outside right now, we're seeing temperatures in the 70s across the majority of eastern Kentucky, upper 60s in Clintwood as well as Wise. Otherwise, 73 in Hazard, 77 London, 79 in Somerset. The next 12 hours keeps temperatures in the low 70s by 6 a.m., quickly going up to 82 as we go into the noon hour. This weekend overall, not bad. One of the days, obviously, is going to be the pick of the weekend. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thanks. A former assistant Pike County attorney is set to go on trial Monday. Donald Kyle Deskins was indicted by a Pike County grand jury last year for the murder of his wife. Deskins is accused of killing Judith Dawn Deskins on April 24, 2021. That indictment also included 2 charges of tampering with physical evidence. He faces up to life in prison. Two parents are in jail after their young child called Corbin police. Officers say the daughter called because she was not able to wake up her mother at the time and thought she was dead. It happened last Friday night on 17th Street in Corbin. Police say the mother, Danielle Asher, and the daughter answered the door. A second child was also in the house. The two children were taken to a different place to live. Officers say the father, Robert Heron, was found at a different time than Asher.
Whereabouts of the father, who was initially on scene, and back at the residence. They got information that he was back at the residence. They conducted surveillance and was able to observe the father, and subsequently he wouldn't come to the door, so a search warrant was applied and issued. And they conducted the search warrant and located the father within the house.
After the search warrant, officers say they found suspected drugs. Both Heron and Asher are being held on a $7,500 cash bond. They face charges of criminal abuse, endangering the welfare of a minor, and drug possession. A mom in Estill County is desperate for help after her teenage son slipped into a psychosis-like state while on vacation. She places the blame squarely on a Delta 8 vape pen. Now she's sharing a direct warning for other parents about the price to be paid when in the wrong hands. Kelsey Soto reports.
You know, I'm trying to trust the doctors.
Dawn Estes is beside herself.
I'm hurt. I'm heartbroken. You know, I want my son back. This is killing us.
While on vacation in Georgia, her 18-year-old son Jacob, who just graduated high school, suddenly became very confused, disoriented, and stopped making sense.
I'm just at a loss for what to do, what steps to take, I'm trying to do everything that I can to fight for him because he's not able to fight for himself.
She tells me Jacob had been vaping Delta 8 products for about 2 months when he gave them up and turned his life over to the Lord. Now he's under care at a facility in Hazard, being treated for a psychosis-like reaction. However, she wonders if there's more to be done medically and is now seeking other opinions and advice.
And maybe ideas. What else can I do? What other steps can I take? What other things can be done?
A recent study published in the Journal of American Medical Association shows 11% of 12th graders admitted to using Delta 8. In research from the University of Alabama, one man with no reported mental illness experienced hallucinations and paranoia. He admitted to vaping Delta 8.
I think just because something is out there and readily available doesn't make it safe, and I think that's the biggest thing that people need to know. It's not controlled. We don't really know what's in these products.
Dawn and her son love to watch UFC matches, and this fight they just can't afford to lose.
I just have to keep believing that he will come out of this. That's the only thing that's keeping me going, is the hope that he will come out of this.
That was Kelsey Soto reporting. Dawn is asking for prayers for Jacob. She wants to raise awareness and begs other parents to talk about the dangers with their children. One Pike County community lost a community staple yesterday when a fire tore through the Greasy Creek Community Center. The fire was called in around 4:30 a.m. and when the Greasy Creek Volunteer Fire Department made it to the scene, it was engulfed in flames. Officials believe arson was the cause, but the incident is still under investigation. Officials say the center, which serves many of the surrounding communities and is used daily, was a total loss.
We did talk about, when rebuilding it and how it would like to be rebuilt, probably, concrete block, something that can't be destroyed so easily, and make it a better community center, a nicer community center.
The state fire investigation crew was on site with a drone earlier today, saying the property is currently closed to visitors. Officials with the CASA of the Appalachian Mountains are facing shortages of volunteers. Community engagement and development specialist Sarah Moorfield says in 2023 there were more than 700 cases of kids across the 7 counties they cover that were dealing with child abuse, neglect, and dependency. She says they are working to recruit more volunteers.
My position was created for us to be out in our counties more, and that is my goal in the coming year. I'm going to be out in our counties. I want to be a presence. I want to get to know everyone in every county who is interested, wants to volunteer, get to know the local officials.
Moorfield says there are several ways to help if people are not able to volunteer their time. She says sharing information about the work they do can be helpful. For a link to their website, you can find it in this story on WYMT.com. President Joe Biden was fired up today in the battleground state of Wisconsin for a rally, one of several upcoming appearances that could prove pivotal to his political future. And a new sit-down television interview with the president is being watched closely after his halting debate performance just more than a week ago. CBS's Erica Brown has the latest on campaign 2024 from the White House.
My answer, I am running and going to win again.
After days of intense debate about his fitness to seek a second term, President Biden says he's staying in the race and will beat former President Donald Trump in November.
I learned long ago, when you get knocked down, you get back up. And I'm not letting one 90-minute debate wipe out 3.5 years of work.
Friday, the president addressed supporters for under 20 minutes at a middle school in Wisconsin. Biden is facing calls from some major donors and a handful of fellow Democrats to step aside after his poor debate performance last week.
Millions of Democrats like you just voted for me in primaries all across America. Some folks don't seem to care who you voted for. Well, guess what? They're trying to push me out of the race.
After his remarks in Madison, the 81-year-old president told reporters he could serve out a second term if reelected.
Are you confident you can serve another 4 years?
I'm positive.
In an exclusive interview with ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos, the president echoed his plans to remain steadfast.
And if you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do. That's what this is about.
President Biden will head to an event in Pennsylvania Sunday and is set to visit more battleground states this month. Former President Trump returns to the campaign trail on Tuesday with a rally in Doral, Florida. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
During the ABC interview, in response to questions on whether he would take a neurological test, President Biden said, quote, "I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I've had tests. Everything I do." As the president faces scrutiny, there are questions about other options within the Democratic Party. According to a report by CNN, if Vice President Kamala Harris were to be at the top of the ticket, there's some discussion about possible running mates. The report named Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear as a top contender. This is what he had to say today about the president's re-election effort.
Joe Biden is the nominee. The only way that's not the case is if he decides he's not going to pursue the nomination.
Governor Beshear says he will be at the Democratic National Convention. That's set for August 19th through the 22nd. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, didn't have enough fun on the 4th? Well, we have some weekend suggestions.
And it'll be an overall nice weekend to get out and enjoy it. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll fly down to the tropics and take a look at the latest on Beryl coming up in a few minutes. Stay with us.